Hi, I want to get more into mechatronics and robotics, so I thought about what could be a good project to start with. And I could vaguely remember a video that I saw a long time ago during a control systems class. And this was of an inverted pendulum. And after thinking about it, this seemed like the perfect project to start with. This as it only has one linear axis and a single input. So in this video I want to go over my project build, some simulation, the control loop itself, and my trials and errors. This all while keeping it as simple as possible. For the hardware side of things, I started with the sled on which the pendulum will be placed. For the movement, I looked at different options. That is linear rails, linear bearings, and then V-slot rollers. I have never worked with the latter, but as they're commonly used, I wanted to give them a try. I'm not quite certain about the correct dimensions and/or spacing of the rollers, but I will give it a first guess. And again, I'm using these really long shoulder bolts, which I purchased for my Core XY build. And again, they are quite handy and I should order some more as my current stock is quite low. So now with the movement component sort of figured out, I started to think about how to connect the pendulum itself. For the pendulum, I want to use this carbon fiber rod more because it looks cool than any other practical reasons. So what I came up with are these two parts. The first one is quite straightforward. It sits on the sled itself and it's just a housing for these two bearings. These will be pressed into it, and in the sort of inner bearing dimension, this part will sit with the shaft part like this, which can then be clamped to the carbon fiber rod. The sled base plate has this recess. This recess is meant for this encoder, and the encoder will read off a magnet from the back side of this bearing plate, sort of at the top or the pin side of the rotating arm. The sort of last part is how to move the sled along its axis, and for this I will just use a motor with just a mounting plate on the one side and a single or double stacked bearing on the other side as an idler, which I will also use to tension the belt once I've assembled it. When choosing the magnet, I first used some that I had lying around, but quickly noticed that you should best use a diametric magnet when using a magnetic encoder. This ensures that both the north and the south pole are on either side of the magnet. So this is my current setup, the first prototype, so to speak. Within the card sits the encoder, which is read by the Raspberry Pi Pico via SPI. And the Pico then also controls the stepper motor via its driver. And right now I would say that the system is functional, but not really working. This is as the entire system is a bit sticky and unresponsive. To get a smoother movement, I switched to open style bearings and even went so far as to remove the grease and replace it with light mineral oil. And this really helped with the stickiness. I continued to run some first tests, and for this I left myself a lot more room than it's practically needed, but this made troubleshooting a lot easier. But I currently believe that the control system doesn't have enough authority over the system. This as it usually asks for the maximum amount of movement right after startup. Right now I'm sort of limited in terms of speed and torque by the current drive motor, but there are still some options that I have to make it a bit easier on the system. That is on the one hand to modify the drive gear to either increase the maximum velocity and or the acceleration, and on the other hand to improve the weight of the pendulum. This especially at the very top, which will increase the inertia and with that make for an overall slower pendulum. And with that I can also get away with a slower moving card. At least these are the options that I currently think of are easily implemented, and while I wait for parts, I want to go over the control system. Before attempting any PAD setup, I did some basic simulation to get a head start. This started with a simple pendulum on a stick based on the potential and kinetic energies, as well as some damping coefficient. I adjusted the time and movement scale until the pendulum moved naturally. This by looking also at the time series evolution of speed, momentum, and the angle of the pendulum. Then I included a card with some fixed back and forth movement to get an idea if the system and my physics actually make sense. And only then I actually implemented the PAD loop and started to tune it in the simulation. The simulation was a really good detour, as I now can anticipate a couple of future issues, like the pendulum probably wanting to walk away from me. And I can also expect oscillations and error in the final goal or target angle, as well as the position of the card itself. The PID setup in the simulation in the actual control is quite straightforward, and a complete control loop of the system could look something like this. Starting with our physical setup, the card sort of outputs the angle of the pendulum, and our goal is that the angle stays more or less constant. So the angle gets returned into our PID controller. This one then computes how much acceleration and force on the pendulum is needed and outputs the corresponding signals to the motor. And with the motor moving the pendulum, we can close our control loop and run the entire system. With the measurable input at the start and a sort of well-defined output, which is a stable angle, we could theoretically calculate the PID values based on this control scheme. However, this involves quite a bit of math, and this is why for now I will just use the practical approach. I went through quite a bit more trial and error, but currently can't get over the two main issues with the system, even after adding some weight to the pendulum. And that is, on the one hand, really inconsistent sensor readings. With the current encoder, even when the pendulum stands still, there's considerable noise and jumps in the signal. And the second one is just not enough motor power. Even with a lot of PID tuning and going so far as to include different PID values for different angle ranges, like for low, medium, and high angles, there always comes a point where the motor just can't accelerate the card fast enough. So I decided not to try to nurse the system any further and do a bit of a rebuild, and as you will see next. So what has changed? Actually a lot, maybe even all the parts. Firstly, the card now moves horizontally to incorporate the new sensor. Before this, I used this type of sensor, which is an AS5048, and I believe that you can get good results with it, but maybe my off-brand Amazon variety just isn't really up to spec. So I decided to go with this, the PC3022, which now has an analog output. That means that I also only have to wire in 3 cables. Having a somewhat functional 3D printer makes this process a lot faster, but having to machine all of the parts also had its thing. I've increased the size of the motor and pulley quite substantially. This now might be a bit of overkill, but I wanted to get this style of driver. It's an integrated servo with the driver already mounted to it for an upcoming future project, so being able to test it on this project does really help. And with the new drive comes also new brackets to incorporate the larger sizes. The sort of only part that is missing is the connection piece between the new shaft and the pendulum itself, but there are a couple of tests that I want to run before attaching the pendulum anyways. So for the second version, the setup has changed quite a bit, mainly because both the sensor and the motor driver want 5 volt, and this STM32 based board has a 5 volt output rail. I've now placed in components here as sort of a bench test. The ADCs on this board still only accept 3.3 volt, so the output of the sensor is going through a voltage divider. And also I have to set up the GPIO outputs up to 5 volt, and for this I'm using this TX0108E level shifter. Moving to this board now also means that the code is written in C and not MicroPython. I tried it for a couple of hours but couldn't set it up as I would like it, and now I switched just to the Arduino/C programming. And I will put the files on the GitHub repository below in case you want to check them out. The first test that I want to run is the sensor input. I still have a bit of noise, but less, and no jumps. So I can reduce the number of averages needed for solid reading, which makes the input a lot faster. And also the motor output is running well. I'm running the servo drive with around 30 volts, which is the maximum my power supply can handle. And I can get it easily up to 750 RPMs right now without any load. So what followed was a whole bunch of tuning and iterating over the next couple of days. And this not just the PID loop itself, but also the update frequency of the entire system, and also how to store and communicate the data so I can tune the system effectively. And I got it close, but not perfect. But before that, there are a couple learnings that made the project get some traction. One is that even though you want a high refresh rate of your control system, the issue then is your actual physical setup. This is as it takes some time for the motor to accelerate and decelerate. So it's a balance between having a high refresh rate of your PID loop to adjust for sudden changes and small changes, and giving the motor enough time to actually accelerate to its maximum desired speed and then decelerate again. So what helped here was making the refresh rate of the control loop variable, or dependent on the angle or error of the system. That meant for small angles or errors, the refresh rate was really high to adjust for small and sudden changes. And for higher errors or larger errors where more movement is needed, the refresh rate was reduced, so the motor had actual time to accelerate to the speed that the control system is asking of it and then decelerate again. The other thing is in keeping the controller blocking during the step generation to a minimum. Here I had the goal that the controller can sort of do something else while it waits in the pauses between the step generation. But in the end, this really limited the maximum motor speed that I can get out of the system. And it turned out that you need way more speed than I originally thought. So in the end, it was a careful trade-off of not sort of wasting too much time between the step generation pulses. Here I ended up batching the motor pulses for each loop, and that worked nicely. Also, the redesign meant that I had no longer issues with the motor not having enough power, and the pendulum now also has a lot less drag and can move freely. Sadly, in the end, I couldn't get the system as stable as I would like it to be. This with the sort of arbitrary constraint of only using one PID loop. I did multiple tests and tuning runs, but the system always went into one of two states. That is, I had either good control of the pendulum in staying upright, but that always came with a strong drift towards one side. or the system was stable in the center of the track, but I did not have enough control to keep the pendulum upright for more than a couple of seconds. So I managed to get it into either states multiple times, but then trying to combine these two never really worked. And I already spent quite some time on it. So I would like to ask you, what would you say could be improved? Are there better control algorithms, or are there any obvious issues with my system? Because I need some distance and do something else before I keep tuning it. See you in the next one.